The room was strange, even by Terran standards. Gaudy, tacky, trying too hard. It was difficult to tell exactly what style it was trying to invoke, as if someone had taken every Terran culture, sloshed them together in a container, added ice, and then had poured out this atrocity of design. The room was lit only with hundreds of prayer candles that lined the walls, leaving the far side shrouded in darkness and casting deep shadows along the marble pillars that held up the ceiling. The ceiling itself is an intricate wood-paneled design that very much did not go with the 3 gold and crystal chandeliers that punctuated it. The rest of the room was filled with random artwork, everything from famous paintings known to be stolen through to thrift store knockoffs. A Picasso originally thought to be lost during the Great Colony Rebellion was placed next to a picture of a boat done by an unknown child. A Michelangelo statue carved in marble stood almost haphazardly behind a cheap-looking giant plastic Buddha. Nothing matched. Nothing was given priority. Nothing had a theme. Even the floor itself was wrong, a cheap packed dirt instead of a more standard metallic flooring, intersected by 2 flowing streams filled with expensive fish and other flora. Of course, like everything the Oracle did, this was all done for a meticulous reason. An intelligent adversary might be able to use clues from a more standard design to estimate a place of birth, or even an age range. Their job was to store information, not give it out, not to give anyone looking for the actual identity of the little-known galactic figure any possible information or clue. In the center of the room, a giant medieval tapestry was being used as a rug, upon which 2 Raha were knelt, or at least as much as their physiologies allowed them to kneel. The one on the left was Lut-Har. Even with the information he had gained from the subservience, the trail had gone cold. Nobody had seen a whisper of a shining star, and the most logical path from the original location to Terran space gave nothing, which was why he had gone to see the Oracle. To his right knelt a second Raha. Ghatkar was situated under Lut-Har's command, being considered ambitious, talented, having quickly risen up the ranks into his current position. Most Raha would have seen such a person as a threat and taken steps to remove them, but Lut-Har specifically had his position because the devotion to the royal line was his main goal. He was a rarity among his species, one who did not care for the power he wielded per se, but instead was truly devoted to his religious cause. He was not the kind of Raha to burn the funeral pyre of someone who might otherwise serve Inch. "Oh, Bright One, why are we wasting time dealing with a mere Terran?" He had to give Ghatkar credit. He really did know how to lay on the charm with superiors. "This Terran is possibly one of the few to grab their species' full potential. If you need information and you know how to find them, the Oracle will sell any piece of knowledge you require. It is how I knew about the assassination attempt on King Lanthus, or about the plot from the Lelzoi royal house to depose the Raha from the Estorian Empire." He could see the surprise twitch through Ghatkar's antenna. Those were the events that had solidified Lut-Har as head of the Inch Elite Guard, and had deposited upon him a reputation of being all-knowing. "But Bright One, why are you telling me this?" Lut-Har turned to focus entirely on his subordinate. "You have risen quickly through the ranks and no doubt seek to supplant me at some point. Out of everyone under my command, you are the most likely to succeed." Lut-Har could see the slight spasms of panic running through Ghatkar. "So you already have a plan? Interesting. Of course, if Lut-Har killed everyone who had a plan to take his position, he would literally have no one to command." "Do not worry, little grub. You are welcome to try. The role of head of the Inch Elite Guard is larger than any one person. It is not about my personal inhibition. If you were to succeed, no matter how unlikely, it means Inch has deemed you more worthy to protect the royal house. This means Inch requires I show you how I serve the royal line before you make your move." It was also a test. Ghatkar also had an arrogance within him, one that made him very effective at rising in the ranks, but would need to be tempered to be an effective herald for the Raha royal house. "Just stay silent and watch. This Terran is not one to be contested." Almost as if responding to the mentioning of their own person, 2 red pinpoints of light emitted from the darkened far wall as an overhead light turned on, showing the pair of Raha the object of their discussion. The Oracle. Or at least a representation that they used. The robot was vaguely humanoid and would have stood at around 10 feet tall if it hadn't been sat cross-legged. The materials and pieces matched the room, insofar as none of them matched. Rusted old parts attached to new shiny chrome clockwork machinery placed next to hydraulics. It represented an androgynous human of unknown gender and race, no real identifying features, with the exception of the glowing red eyes and the 6 arms attached to its side. These limbs were placed in front of it in a faux representation of a prayer, head bowed before them. "Welcome to the Oracle. Knowledge is power, and all power can be brought." The voice matched everything else around them. It switched between Terran languages, between AI-generated voices and actual audio clips. Male, female, AI, uplift, human. It was impossible to tell whose voice this was. Like everything else, it was designed to hide the real identity of the person or persons that were behind this. Who are the truth seekers before me? Who are on the path to enlightenment? I am Luthar, head of the Intich Elite Guard and herald of the Raha Royal House. This is Gatkar, my second in command. There was a moment as the machine seemed to regard them both for a moment, before continuing on. You seek the location of Amanda Blake, in Retailaton for the death of Prince Hakthas. That I can provide. How do you know that? The look of surprise quivering through Gatkar's antenna was obvious as he spoke out. That information is only known by the Inch Elite Guard. Our role is to know things, information is sacred, and we are divine. While the voice from the Oracle hadn't changed, somehow the differing scrapbook of a voice sounded annoyed. Please do not interrupt this transaction or there will be consequences. I apologize for my subordinate's actions, Luthar stated, trying to get things back on track. What would be the price for such enlightenment, in addition to the location of somewhere I could purchase Terran weaponry? Luthar had to admit that the Terran weapons, while primitive, had been very effective in their own way, and he was always open to new strategies and tactics. 20 million Terran dollars via the usual method. Why would we pay in Terran currency? The anger in Gatkar's voice was obvious as once again he spoke out of turn. You will accept Astorian credits. Due to your barbaric ways, Astorian credits will not suffice, as we have no intention to visit that pitiful and insignificant empire. How dare you? Gatkar started to angrily get to his feet as he shouted, I should tear you and this ship apart for speaking like... 3 things happened at the same time. The first was that Gatkar made the very unwise choice to draw his weapon in anger and arrogance. The second was the sound of a gunshot echoing around the room, originating from an unseen location. The third was Gatkar's head exploding into a variety of liquid chunks, spraying the floor and Luthar with what used to be the Raha's tiny brain matter. The price is now 21 million. The representation of the Oracle turned to look at the last remaining Raha. For rug cleaning costs. Luthar could barely contain the feeling of satisfaction as he authorized the payment. The supposed location of his quarry being transmitted to his personal device nearly instantly. An uninhabited moon on the edge of Terran space. Gatkar had been worryingly competent, and while he was the rare kind of Raha who wasn't willing to set someone else's funeral pyre alight, he was more than happy to let dangerous up-and-comers to set their own pyre aflame. I thank you for this guidance, Oracle. The Raha began to get up before being interrupted. Wait, I have one more piece of guidances to give. Luthar paused, confusion setting in. The Oracle never gave you anything other than what you exactly asked for or wanted. The cost? Consider this on the house, as you are a valued customer. There was a pause as Luthar wondered exactly what this would be before the Oracle continued once more. Do not take the path you are headed down. It will lead to your demise and the demise of the Astorian Empire. Since when does the Oracle take sides? I do not. We have a reputation for accurate and useful information, a reputation that your failure might disparage. Our obligations have now been met. You have been warned.